Well, hello ladies and gentlemen. This episode is going to be a bit different from the rest. I received a comment a couple weeks ago about if I've had any paranormal experiences that I should share them. Well, I've had a few odd occurrences that I really can't explain, but I always look for logical explanation in pretty much everything. While this isn't the creepiest encounter I've experienced, it is the scariest. I'll leave it up to all of you to give some insight. I want to put this out there and state this story is 100% true. So sit back, grab a blanket, turn off the lights, and let's dive right in. Back in 2011, I recently moved back home with my parents. They lived in the middle of nowhere, a small town of only 50 people, and the nearest city being a 20-minute drive. I had a typical routine of staying up late and would usually fall asleep around 4 a.m. on my days off. I was a healthcare aide at the time, and anybody who endures shift work knows how much it affects your sleeping pattern. Anyways, so one night, I was watching a movie by myself. It was roughly between 3 to 3:30 a.m., and I decided to go outside for a quick smoke before bed. Now, this taking place in the dead of winter, I wasn't exactly going to stand outside in minus 30 degrees weather. So I threw on my jacket and shoes, opened the back door, and the cold air hit me like a ton of bricks. I ran to the garage, which was separated from the house, meaning you could walk around the garage in circles if you wanted, but our fence ran around the property, so the garage was still located in the backyard. This plays a role in the story. So after running into the garage and immediately turning on the garage heater, I lit up my cigarette and sat down on the bench we had by the side door I just came in through. As I'm sitting there, not even a minute goes by, I suddenly hear an extremely loud thump right behind me. I'd say it was about 10 feet away. I immediately stood up. My heart felt like it was going to explode out of my chest, when suddenly, I hear another loud bang. This time even closer than before. At this point, I started to think somebody was in my backyard, and I immediately grabbed a wooden baseball bat. As soon as I picked up the bat, there was another thump. And another. All in turn as the sound circled my garage. The only way I can describe the sound was if somebody had a sledgehammer and was repeatedly slamming it into the ground. Suddenly everything went dead silent. The cold winter air was all I could hear. I stood frozen in my garage for about 20 minutes, just listening for any movement while standing in front of the door, my hand wrapped around the doorknob with the baseball bat in my other hand. It felt as if time had stopped, and the only thing I could hear was the sound of my own heartbeat. The only thought I had was someone was in my backyard, waiting for me to open the door to ambush me, when suddenly, I heard one last thump right outside the door directly in front of me. With the amount of adrenaline I worked up over the last 45 minutes, I swung open the door, not even 5 seconds after the last thump, only to find nobody there. I quickly glanced left, then right, and then straight ahead, and hightailed it as fast as I could to the house and locked the doors immediately. I remember heading straight downstairs to my bedroom and paced around trying to rationalize what just happened. To this day, I really can't explain what happened that night, the sounds that I heard, and how it was circling my garage. Of all the creepy experiences I've encountered, this one terrified me the most. I do, however, always think back, maybe someone was outside in the middle of the night with me, in the middle of nowhere. The only thing I can't explain is how they were able to get away from the door within the 5 seconds it took me to open it up. Surely I would have seen someone running in the 3 directions and would have heard the crunching of the snow. Come to think of it, I never did hear any footsteps. Remember how I said I always find logical reasons in pretty much every aspect of my life? This is the only time I really have no explanation. I would love to hear all of your thoughts. I'll have another episode on my personal experiences. The next event in my life holds a place in my heart, and it's something I will never forget until the day I die. Being as it's a personal matter, and it's not something I really talk about, I feel the need to open up and let it out. But that's a story for a different day. So until then, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Be sure to stab that like button, and always remember, I am the words that keep the birds humming. Join me.